Oh, folks, how y'all doing today? Now, folks, it comes to our mind that while it is definitely productive to have rallies, political rallies, to garner support for your ideas or to, demonstrate support for your ideas. Absolutely important, very important. Displays, they're generally called amongst primates and pack animals. Now, at any rate, what is also important to every primate and pack animal is a home territory, a territorial imperative, someplace that's your little center, your little base, where your women and your children wait while you go and do these demonstrations outside of your territory or at the edge of your territory to, you know, you see. Now, the general rule is that any pack of animals that doesn't have a territory will not long exist. Territorial imperative is necessary for biological integrity and survival. Period. Therefore, while displays are important, possession of a home base, of a territory of their own, is the first imperative, number one imperative in the chain of operations, the sort of order of operations of survival. The group must have a home. The group must have some place to get its food prepared, a hearth, and the group must have some common reason, a heritage, for which it does all of this struggle above. But for any of this heritage, the wish for a hearth, and the desire of a home to matter, the group has to put its will to the acquisition of a territory which it uses uniquely to its ends. Now that's just as easy as it is. This works for every group of mammals, regardless if they're apes, humans, mice, etc. Okay? And so, like I say, these rallies, these displays, oh yes, they're very important. They're an important part of a demonstration of strength. They show others that you have power, and they ensure that others do not wish to encounter you. That's the general purpose of them. It also tends to bring those who would be on your side to your side. It sort of has a sympathetic, magical effect, if you wish, upon the general psyche of people who are on your side of the fence, as it were. Right. Now, that is great. That is wonderful. It is a definite positive occurrence. Certainly a positive occurrence. However, a group can display all it wants and yet lose the territory because it didn't establish firm bases based in home, based in hearth, based in heritage, based on land, based in work. Do you know, right? And this is a simple reality that I don't want my group to lose, and so I harp on this base home territorial unit a great deal. Do you understand? Because it is primary in the order of operations for our survival. First, we personally and as a collective race, group, identity, people must have a home. By that, I mean we must have land, resources, and exclusive use of both. Okay? From there, we have to have ways of, again, organizing the use of this food so we can make food and clothing and all the other things that are necessary to life. I'll call that a hearth. And from all of this hard work, there has to be, again, an overarching reason. That would be the metaphysical beliefs, the ethical beliefs, the rest. That is a heritage. Okay? And of course, the whole reason that we want this home is because this home is where children are birthed, raised, and brought up to take our place one day. It's where the mother does her magic for the human race. Yeah, right? And it's the father's duty to guard the land, work and guard the land. The mother takes care of the home. The two efforts here create the ability of the hearth to pass on heritage to children. Okay? And that's why I harp on this territorial unit, organic society, organic community, whatever you like to call it, ethno community, ethno state, whatnot. It doesn't matter to me what terminology you use, just so that you understand that the ethos must have a land. It must have land for its people to live on, for them to have livelihoods, for them to have a life upon. Okay? And that life is both personal and public, individual and collective. Do you know? And there's more to it than just eating and sleeping and huddling up together like dogs in the reek. Okay? There's culture, there's happiness, there's dance, there's music. In time, there may even be art and high forms of other expressive stuff. Aesthetics, philosophy, do you understand? Logic, technology, science, thinking, debate, religion. Religion has served us well for 45,000 years. It may be reckless to just toss it overboard now, I think. Yeah, right. So, do you see? But land, a home area, a base area, a territorial imperative is necessary, because without this you have no stable way to maintain your people. Now, this argument of mine, I made it to them and they made the objection. It is a fairly reasonable objection when you first hear it, that nomads carried on. Yeah, but their wagons and their wagon trains operated very much like these homes do for settled people, do you see? And, they just used land where they needed it because they didn't farm and they didn't have, advanced industry, do you understand? That's the trade-off of being a nomad. Now, if you'd like to live like a nomad, I can advise you of this, that being a farmer is hard, but being a nomad is even more hard. So, if you people don't think you can move out to the country and be farmers, you're certainly not going to live on the back of a horse. Let me make that clear to you. Right? So that means land. That means land must be had to carry on our identity, to carry on your children, your family line, you. Because I wager that a good number of you that are hearing this, if you were to move into a nice, quiet community where you had a fairly large, home that was yours, and you knew it was going to be yours, and your children after you, and your children, their children to them, and said, right? That you'd work harder on it, that you'd care more about it, that you'd be more relaxed, you'd have more stress, or less stress, You'd be more at ease with your neighbors, more trusting, and it would be better for your soul. Yes, your soul. Right? Because you would feel centered. You would have a place where you could say, this little bit is mine, and all of this is mine, ours. This belongs to my ethos, but this belongs to me. You see how this works? This isn't contradictory. This is completely natural for our people as far back as I can trace history. And for all mammalian life, the need for a home, for a niche, for a place is absolute. The need for resources is absolute. Our continued identity on into the future depends on the ability to feed, clothe, house, educate, birth and raise youth. And all of this depends on the ability of men to do work on land, women to work in homes, and the two to synergize together and create the conditions where these youth, this future, can be produced. I don't really think that such a thing can be harped on just too much, because it's absolutely necessary. And of course people always, well, we can't do this, but we can. There are millions of us, at least 2 to 3 million people who believe exactly, more or less, what I believe, that there are, that Americans as such, white Americans, however we're going to label that out, and we can parse that if you like, I just use the SS race tables, yeah, okay, are an ethnos, and we have a right to exist, yeah, right? Now, let's just say that there is 100,000 people that all agree on exactly one definition of what an ethnos is, and they want to live one way. Now, if they all only have They only have $10. They now have $1 million to invest. That's a lot of land in the middle of nowhere. It's a lot of land. If they did this twice, that's a lot of cheap trailers, throwaway objects, and other stuff that you can improvise into nice, dry, comfortable, perfectly functional living area where you can be free of your housing development people. You can be free of the suburb bureaucrats. You can be free of the urban noise, crime, and diversity units. And you can earn what you earn with your hands out in the country. Do you understand just how easy this is? You can slowly build up and move more of you out as you build up. Okay? And the ones who haven't moved yet, just put in money in the faith that they will get their turn, because you all keep packed with each other like good white men, not like a bunch of rip-off merchants. And part of that keeping packed is, of course, as I've said many times, to set up mutual associations. They lay out legal terms for which money is donated and how it is to be used. And it is hard for any one person to rip off such a situation, you see, because there's group votes needed and so many people have to be officers and such and so forth, you see. It also provides you with legal layers between you and just a lawsuit. You'd have this association, this business, this, right? But since those associations are you, well, right? As long as you follow the rules, that can work to your favor, right? And then over time, all 100,000 of you can live in a nice, we can call it an ethno city that you will have literally built by the same exact process that any urban area builds up by, but purposely and not haphazardly. Okay? So the first of you will basically understand that you're going to work like medieval peasants because this is what is necessary to break ground. There it is. Now, is that a real killjoy? Yeah. I mean, I'm not here to promise you fantasies about Roha and other gibberish. I'm trying to offer you realistic ways that our people can have territories where we can live and continue, and where people who can agree to live at least in a way that's not where they don't want to wipe us out, they can too. Okay? Now that's realistic, and it's based on what I would consider to be common sense. And let's be realistic, people. The fact is that without this territory, a lot of us are always just going to feel cut adrift because we don't feel like even these towns we were born in anymore are ours. They're just places full of alien hordes, and you just feel cast out, unwanted in your own home, as it were. Well, why not find all the other unwanted people that agree with you and band together and forge workable organizations that can save money and buy and use land and capital to make you all wealth so that you can live independently on the land quietly like the Amish or the Mennonites or some of those Mormons out in Utah. Why can't you all do that? What would be the impossibility of this? I don't see any. All I see is that people haven't thought that they can do this yet. They haven't said to themselves, I can do this. Well, once you accept that, yes, you can do this, you can do it. Putting your mind to it is the first step to ensuring this ethno territory. Because the ethno territory is the prerequisite, the absolute requirement for the ethno state and for the identity of white, Western, Christian, European peoples for which the alt-right stands to have any viable chance of withstanding political correctness, liberalism's, and Islam's onslaughts. Thank you.